Boedu J is my friend, CEO of Oasis Capital. He's going to join us to talk about Oasis Capital Ghana. What kinds of companies they've been supporting over the years? Why is that kind of support important? And what is this new Oasis Africa Fund? Matthew, welcome. Good morning.
Thank you very much, Bernard.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
Great. You are still the CEO of, the last time I checked, you are CEO of Oasis. It hasn't changed.
I am still.
How long have you been in that role?
I have a few years to go. I've been since 2009 when I left Grofin as a country director to set up Oasis Capital.
How has it been going?
So far, it's been interesting. It's been good. We have difficult times, but we have also high times. And I think it's our commitment and resolve to supporting small and medium-sized enterprises because in our view, that's what drive the growth and development of every country.
So your company is a licensed growth capital fund manager?
Absolutely.
What does that mean?
What it means is that we raise capital, and that is private equity capital, and invest in businesses. By reason of regulation in Ghana, people that operate in that are required to be licensed by Security and Exchange Commission. So we've been licensed as an investment advisor. But our ethos and focus has been supporting growth businesses. So the business can be in early stage, it can be at the growth stage, they can be in difficult stage, and we put in measures and structures to ensure that we sustain those businesses and help drive them to success and growth. And we have had very phenomenal success in some of them. We've also had challenges in some of them.
What are some of your flagships been? Tell me about the track record you have in SMEs. Which are one or two you can talk about?
I can talk, for example, a classic example is Access Pension. Access Pension, we invested in at a very early stage where things were very difficult for them at that early stage because at that time the pension regulation was not complete in terms of it had been, and they've been licensed, but they were waiting for the release of the TPFA, a temporary fund that took some time. So that brought them into liquidity position, and we supported them. Fast forward, some few years thereafter, we exited out of the business successfully with good return. Fast forward, they turned out to be in a position where they invested in our Oasis Africa Fund 1, and they've also invested in the Oasis Africa Fund 2. So it tells you a story that you invest in a business that turn around at some point to also build so much growth and success to be at that level. We can also speak about Legacy Girls, an early stage a startup business supported by 3 strong Ghanaian successful women and professionals. And they started this at a time where they had only 50 students, and we put in money, and in 5 years they were over 500 students with phenomenal growth, story, training, confident, brilliant Ghanaian women, most of whom I have no doubt may eventually become leaders of this country. And I think that is the satisfaction. I can also give you some experience that was not directly done by Oasis, but it's an investment that I made some years back under the same sector where we invested in a school in Kumasiko ICS, and today they are in Accra with over 2,000 students, doing phenomenally well. But what is telling about it is that in 2019, I went to Seattle in the US of A, and I was picked from the airport by a student who went to that school, who now works for Microsoft. And not only that, they assembled a group of people for me to speak to them, and about 6 of them had previously gone to that, somewhere with Boeing. And
so the investment return is incalculable.
Not, but it is it's incalculable. It's priceless because what it is that if we're able to support these businesses and not only looking at large corporations and big businesses, then we will be reaching a point where the economy will grow in. If you look at Europe, the strongest economy is Germany. And Germany doesn't have that humongous companies as America and other places have. Their businesses are small, but over time they've grown. Some of them have grown to revenues of about billions of dollars. But the majority of them are all traditional family consistency in quality and support and structures in place.
So you're going to launch a new fund.
Yes.
It's called the Oasis Africa Fund. Tell me about how different. So what is this fund? This is OF2.
Yes.
How different is it from previous ones, and who will it target?
Okay, this fund is targeting to raise $100 million, and from both Ghanaian institutions and international organizations that we are in discussions with and have had very good stride. And I'll give you some details as we go along. But in terms of its character, the distinguishing feature is that the previous funds, which is a Bankers Venture Fund we set up in 2010, and then the OAF one, which we did in 2017, were more thematic and sector focused. So we were focusing on education, health, housing and hospitality, and financial services. But post COVID, we decided to look at our strategy, and then we made a policy that we would like to be sector agnostic. So the distinguishing feature for this is that this is sector agnostic, but in terms of investing, we are still committed to the SME sector.
Wonderful.
I understand the SME is a difficult sector, and most private equity practice, once they start after first attempt, they port away. We have sustained this, and we are going for the third term. And it shows our commitment and resolve to ensure that we will be committed to them. We are here for good, and we are in this for good.
This is not a Ghana-specific focus fund. This is West Africa.
Yeah, in line with Pan-African trade and relationship, and which is headquarters in Ghana. After we also felt that we have not taken advantage of our neighboring economies. If you look at it, the financial sector of Ghana is far more developed. Ghana and Nigeria are far more developed than the other countries in West Africa. And if we prepare ourselves well, we could become leaders of these economies. And
wonderful.
That is a reason why we are exploring opportunities in other regions as well. But we are dedicated to Ghana primarily, and opportunistically we're looking at other countries. Let's
talk about impact investing. It's a new thing now. Some of the examples you give, education, pensions, I'm sure health as well. How critical is ESG in your investment decisions? And would you describe your fund as an impact investment fund?
Thank you very much, Bernard. I think ESG, which has become it's not a new thing though. It's been there in existence. ESG is very critical to every investment globally, because environmental, social, and governance system that you put in place. And in every, for instance, would you be happy to see that by reason of your policies, HR policies, and the way you act, people have besieged your premises? You cannot operate. So we view them as risk mitigating factor and a development objective, rather than seeing it as a compliance requirement. So it is important, and in fact, prior to us making investment decision, there is diagnostics that are done. We have a dedicated person committed to reviewing and clearing investment which qualifies under the ESG before we even look at the financial, operational, and other stuff.
Wonderful.
Because we see it as an integral part for the development. So it is important.
Let's talk about some of the backers. Who are the investors backing this OAF Fund 2? If you can reveal the identities.
This Fund 2 is being supported primarily by Development Bank Ghana, Venture Capital Trust Fund. We have a number of pension funds through Stanbic. We have Data Bank. We have Standard Pensions. We go Oasis Pension. We have Petra, and we have quite a lot of them, 11 selected entities. And we have also internationally reached the key stage for development, for decision making. Some of them have gone past their initial one. So the tour list includes also we have the GCB Capital, and we have InvestCorp, and Oasis Capital ourselves are also investors.
So a lot of people coming together. Is that how it usually works?
Yes, it works in a more developed economies where there are a lot of foundations. So in the case of US, where money is quite available significantly. You know, the U.S. economy is leader in terms of private equity practice. Silicon Valley, almost every idea you bring, you're able to get people to support you. But also it's the same country where you have a lot of foundations, right? Some universities have foundations that have more than $20 billion, and they are able to invest. Of course, I don't know. I went to University of Ghana, but I don't know whether we have even 100 million or we have something like that. But I think these are lessons that we need to learn.
Are companies ready? Are SMEs open for this type of funding?
That is where we need to do a lot of education, because it's fundamentally your average Ghanaian sees ownership of a business as an asset to bequeath, right? Instead of seeing it as an enterprise and a business to build. For me, the end game of every business is that you are building a business and grow the business with a view to selling the business. That should be the objective. So that is where you make the return. So you build a big business and you sell the business. If you want to have income, it is the instruments that you invest in, the shares that you buy, that ends up paying you dividend. So earning dividend, and that is an income perspective. Whilst I see building a business and selling as a return, unfortunately, most of us feel that once you build a business, your daughter or son must be the one to take over. And that is the reason why we have not been able to create generational businesses. And most businesses in Ghana don't last for long, right? I think that we've reached a point in life where that has to change. And that will require a collective effort from all of us in terms of educating everybody, so that when you set business up, the decision makings are not fraught with emotions and other things, and that is driven by sound principles, so that you are not attached too much to the business to the level that we make decisions that become counterproductive.
So you are launching the OAF2 tomorrow.
Yes.
It's a big launch, and then from there, have you already found companies you are putting money in, or you're going to do? How does it work? Do you identify the companies, or companies can say, hey, we are here, come and give us money?
It comes from different deal sourcing comes from different perspectives, but most of them we do synopsis and analysis, and then we go and identify. We also get referrals from business development people. We interact with our banks, and we also get sources from their lawyers, accountants. So they come from a variety of sources.
Wonderful.
Congratulations. In terms of, because we've been in this business for some time, and we are in continuous operation, we've got a very rich pipeline that we are going to review, and we are still reviewing and looking at them. So we will begin to deploy the capital in earnest.
Matthew Boduaje is the CEO of Oasis Capital, launching a new fund, $100 million. Kaish. It's happening tomorrow. Stay tuned. You'll hear some announcements on this show, I'm very sure, about what else is happening there. Matthew, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you.
I appreciate your time.
You're welcome.
Nice one.